Good afternoon, everyone. Now is the time for Legal and Finance Committee. It is November 27, 2019. We are in council chambers. Could we start with a roll call and determination of quorum, please? Here. Thank you very much. Now would be the time I would look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
No public comment. Oh, sorry.
We need to adopt the agenda.
We have a motion by Lewis and a second by Nordstrom. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes. Now is the time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the council on any issue not on the agenda. Agenda action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda, except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. We do have one person here that is just standing by for questions on item number 8. And if someone pulls item number 8, then we will go ahead and address that. If not, we'll just continue forward. So moving on now for consent items 1 through 8. Public comment is opened and closed. Is there any council members that would like to remove any items from the consent items? The chair recognizes Richie Nordstrom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 2, please.
Thank you. And the chair would like to pull number 3. Could I have a motion for the remainder of the items, please? Have a motion by Lehman and a second by Lewis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We will now move to item number 2, Mayor's item. Approve resolution number 2019-093, a resolution establishing the Rapid City Youth Council. And the chair will go to Mr. Nordstrom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I'll make the motion to approve the resolution, and if get a second, to retain the floor.
Certainly, we have a motion by Nordstrom and a second by Lehman.
Thank you. If I may ask Kinsley Grote to give us a short presentation on this exciting new program that's coming to Rapid City.
Okay.
The chair is yours, Kinsley.
Great, thank you. Kinsley Grote from the City Attorney's Office. So this resolution would establish a youth city council, and I'll just go over some of the basics of it. So the membership will consist of 2 non-voting members, a liaison from the council, and then an administrative coordinator from Rapid City area schools, and then the youth. So there's going to be a possibility of up to 18 members on the youth city council with a minimum of 5. The youth will be between the ages of 14 and 18. The voting members will be selected by a selection committee, and that selection committee will choose the term length that the youth will have between 1 and 2 years. There's actually already talk of what this selection committee members, who they will be. So that's nice that there's already been things done in the background to prepare for this. So they'll be up and running hopefully pretty quickly, and they will select the members on the youth city council. Then the nice thing about the selection committee is that they will accept applications throughout the year. So if there are any youth members who have to, for some reason, stop serving, then their positions could be filled by that selection committee year-round. But then towards the end of the year, there will be a new group selected for the next year. Then after that, the first business of the youth city council would be to pass the bylaws, and that's another thing that would come back in front of city council, because it's put in the resolution that that's something that would be approved by city council. So you would see that again if this resolution is approved. And a few things about the days of meetings and location. The youth city council will happen here in council chambers, and it'll take place the second Tuesday of every month. They're could be the possibility of some extra meetings, and some of the meetings will be about items that you might have on the agenda. The youth will speak to those things, and department directors would come in and give some presentations, information about the different departments in the city, and give the youth a chance to talk about the business of the city. And I also have Ms. Kiner here to talk about her part of it, because she is the Rapid City Area Schools Youth Engagement Coordinator, if that's what you'd like.
So my name is Kristen Kiner, and I'm a Youth Engagement Coordinator for Rapid City Area Schools and TNUP. And so TNUP is a youth engagement initiative here in Rapid City. And the great thing about what I get to do is I get to work for all these young people in figuring out how they can share their voice and implement change within our community. And this is something that's been brought forward a few different times to me, and I'm really excited, and I want to thank you to the city of Rapid City for the momentum that has been built with this concept and with you, City Council. I also appreciate the review of the resolution today, and I also look forward to continuing on as a support piece to young people. Obviously, it will be young people who will be moving this forward, but I am here as the biggest cheerleader and also the one kind of that adult mentor to help kind of work through anything that comes up that maybe could get a little bit difficult and stuff. And so I'll be here as a support, and I also, as far as sustainability, it's one of those things where as a youth engagement coordinator, the Rapid City Area Schools is very supportive in new opportunities for young people to develop leadership skills and be college and career ready, and this is a perfect example of that. And so my support can continue in different capacities depending upon what City Council liaison and the city needs and wants. And so that's kind of a big piece. And then also I do have with me one of the young leaders who helped to bring this proposal forward initially, and her name is Jordan Kokish, and she will also talk a little bit about sustainability and marketing to young people and how that may be building as we move forward. So, you want to share? Okay.
Hello, my name is Jordan Kokish, and I am a junior at Stevens High School, and I am one of the co-leaders to develop this proposal of the Youth City Council. And I want to thank you all for reviewing this resolution in front of us, and also for Kinsley for helping us with all the work she's done. And after this meeting, I will also help discuss the terms of sustainability and the application process. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Madam Chair, just would also like to recognize one of our colleagues, Lance Lehman, who is getting nominated for being the liaison for this position, and I applaud him for taking on this effort, and look forward to seeing this community, this new community being involved in the greater Rapid City. And thank you for the presentation, and look forward to seeing everything start developing. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nordstrom. Are there any other comments? If not, we have a motion by Nordstrom and a second by Lehman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And the motion carries. Number 3, to approve the Rapid City Regional Airport rates and charges for fiscal year 2020. I'm pretty sure Mr. Dane is in the... Would you mind going to the lectern and giving us a brief summary of what these changes are and how they came about, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Patrick Dame. I'm the Executive Director of the airport. We've highlighted in there essentially what the changes are. We didn't go through on this particular sheet that I've got from the attachment here for all the rates and charges, because a good majority of them stay the same. The rates that have changed in here are tied to our contractual obligations that we have with various different lease agreements. So there are portions of the leases that are tied to the consumer price index, and as that goes up, so do the lease agreements. One of the changes that we've made is with our T-hanger leases, because we're the ones who rent those out. We did have those tied to CPI. which was putting them into a position where they got into, like, for instance, the $310.59. We changed that to round those to the nearest whole number with some of the new agreements that are coming forward. So as a for instance, it would go to $310 a month. So we'll adjust that with the CPI in the background, but then increase it in $5 increments. In terms of the landing fees and the terminal rent fees, those are based on our contractual agreement with our air carriers. We did have we went through about 8 years worth of negotiating with the carriers and did get that negotiation completed, I guess, 2.5 years ago now. And based on that, this charges off the actual cost of the terminal and the actual cost of the runway and those services associated with the runway. Firefighting would be one of the prime examples. So when we look at, if you go through over the past 5 years or so, looking at the various different fees, you would see an increase in the landing fees on there. Based on that as an adjustment in adding in a good majority of the cost of aircraft rescue firefighting. So based on that, we do charge off and recover almost 100% of what we're able to recover of our cost with the airlines. So that's how this number changes based on what our actual costs. So if we have a bad snow year, you might see that cost go up in the next year because, again, it goes on actuals.
Thank you. I believe Chad Lewis also has a question. Is it for
No,
Mr.
I was
Okay.
we have a motion yet?
No, we don't.
Motion to approve, please.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Second by Nordstrom. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Dane, for coming forward and giving us that explanation. We will now move on to non-consent items. We have one public comment for non-consent. Not this one. And that is Mr. Dan Sefner. And if you would like to go to the lectern, or if you have a comment, Mr. Sefner, and come to the lectern.
Hi, Dan Sefner, Destination Rapid City. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to speak number 10, community development. What I want to discuss there is the movement I've seen in the city, and we're talking about a study that I think is very important. I know this group has supported it in the past, because what we're looking at is a link. I see a link. The study that we did recently for parking was a study. It's working. The study that we did for 6th and St. Joe project that is in the Lloyd Company project right now was under a study. These things are moving along. The arena was under a study. The downtown improvement plan was under a study. So I'm talking about studies that are not sitting in a corner or on a shelf. We got studies that are moving along. The Ascent was under a study. These things are moving. In the last few years, there's been a lot of decisions made in Rapid City, and the link between the new arena, downtown, the new Lloyd Company building, the Ascent, the downtown lighting project is all what I would call in full swing. So I just want to give my outstanding support for this study that we move forward and take a look. I've talked with Todd Seaman, Director of Transportation for DOT, and he's very much in support also. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those comments. We appreciate it. I see no other public comment, so we will close public comment. We'll go on to item number 9, the second reading and recommendation of ordinance number 6371 regarding supplemental appropriation number 8 for 2019.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Lewis and a second by Lehman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 10, approve the reconstruction, Approve the reconsideration to authorize the mayor and finance officer to sign the professional services agreement for the 6th and Omaha Street pedestrian and bicycle crossing study and 6th Street Promenade Corridor Master Plan with Felsberg, Holt, and Ulvig in the amount not to exceed $125,097. And the chair will recognize Chad Lewis, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I'd like to make a motion to approve. May I ask, I think of directing this question to Vicki Fisher, but I want to make sure, or maybe Pauline, the amount of money that the city is, what percentage of this is funded by federal grant money? Is it, oh, Kip might know that answer, sorry.
Good afternoon, Kip Harrington, Long Range Planning. This study is funded through our Metropolitan Planning Organization, which receives federal transportation planning funds. They account for 81.95% of the study's cost. The city makes up the other 18.05% match.
Okay, and something I think that I would like to mention, and this is to me vital for the reconsideration purposes of this, the 5-5 vote last time, and the reason we Mayor couldn't break the ties because we're spending money, but it's something that information that we didn't have before, and it just, for some reason, we didn't have it. It's not a big deal, but is that the idea that this crossing is going to go away in the future, correct, Mr. Harrington?
The agreement with the Department of Transportation states that this is a temporary crossing, and when traffic levels are such that this crossing would impact traffic flows on Omaha Street, which is also State Highway 44, then the DOT can require that it be either removed or relocated at the city's expense. So we're trying to get out ahead of that curve. We don't know if that's going to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. We're working with the DOT to try to narrow that window down a little bit, but we're trying to get out ahead of that and be proactive rather than reactive, so when that day comes, we have a plan in place and know what we need to do to continue that link between Memorial Park, downtown, the Performing Arts Center, keep that whole 6th Street corridor vital to our transportation system.
And I appreciate that. It's just something I think was a vital piece of information that was missing to the public last time. I think we're just throwing money away on studies, and this will never work. Well, we have to do something, folks, because eventually it's going to be gone, and there needs to be some sort of viable alternative for that. And I do appreciate the forward thinking. That's not a word, is it? The forward thinking of the of Mr. Harrington and all the staff involved in that process. And I do think it's a lot of money being thrown to downtown developments. We got the new project going downtown. We have the Main Street Square, and obviously the new arenas. We have to link all that together somehow, folks, and make this one big vital corridor for our downtown. So I once again will be supporting this, and I do appreciate all the efforts and the extra information, which I think should turn the tide in our favor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. The chair recognizes Richie Nordstrom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Harrington, or excuse me, not Mr. Harrington, Mr. Seffner made a presentation here just a moment ago, and he ticked off a lot of lists of studies that we've conducted in the past. So, Kip, maybe you can address this issue that I heard last time around on this, is that a lot of studies go and sit on the shelf. I'm not familiar with that many, or hardly any at all, studies going and sitting on a shelf and collecting dust. So, and especially with this mayor that's in office right now, we get a study going and then something does happen. So, you care to elaborate on that?
Well, this is just the first step in a long process with this, and this is a transportation-related study. If it works with transportation, then we'll move on to an engineering phase and then come up with construction plans once we figure out how to get it funded as well. But this is really the first step in a long process. So this will not just sit on a shelf. This will inform us on what steps we need to take next to address this situation.
Thank you for that clarification. And then also, just a further point is, I remember hearing in your presentation yesterday at Public Works that this opens up the opportunity for additional grants. And this will give us an opportunity to do further development with the downtown area. And so this is the first step. I call it reinvesting or investing in the city of Rapid City, specifically for the downtown area. So any additional comments on that?
We're always looking at grant funding opportunities, and we feel that this, as a relatively unique project in the area, would be a viable candidate for some transportation grant funding.
Thank you. That's all I have. I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Nordstrom, and thank you for having a presentation ready. I know you did it yesterday at Public Works, and you will be back again Monday night, and we will look forward to having it available to the public to be more informed. We have a motion by Mr. Lewis and a second by Mr. Nordstrom. If no other comment, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 11, second reading and recommendation of ordinance number 6363, A request by City of Rapid City to consider an application for an ordinance amendment to allow for accessory dwelling units in residential districts by amending the Title 17 of the Rapid City Municipal. Okay, we have a motion by Lehman and a second by Lewis. Seeing no comment, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side. Motion carries. Under Parks and Recs, number 12, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 6373, an ordinance amending sections of the Rapid City Municipal Code relating to city cemeteries. We have a motion to approve by Nordstrom, second by Lewis. Seeing no comment, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 13, second reading of ordinance number 6372, an ordinance to amend Chapter 10.48 of the Rapid City Municipal Code relating to parking during snow removal.
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve by Lewis, a second by Lehman. Seeing no comment, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Accept a motion to adjourn.
Please.
By Lewis, motion to adjourn by Lewis.
Second.
Second by Nordstrom. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thank you for coming.